Hello, ladies, and welcome to the Women's Direct Sales Summit. I, of course, am your host, Carrie Yossi, and I am joined with two lovely ladies today. I've got Angie Lee and Jen Casey with us. Hello, ladies, and welcome.
Hi. Hello.
Super
We are so excited to be here.
Thanks, because I'm excited to have you. So this is good. So, all right, listen, ladies, we have so much to cover, so much to dive in with. Angie and Jen each have their own thing going, but they also come together and create some really amazing content and value and wisdom. So before we dive into that wisdom that they have, I'd love for you guys to share just a little bit about how you came to be, kind of how you got to this point of us being together and you guys working together, and Angie just moved cross country, no big deal. So talk to us a little bit about how that all came to be.
Yeah, I just creepishly stalked on Jen's video one day. Yeah, we actually are going to do a podcast on this, but we were both doing business coaching one-on-one with clients prior to us meeting. We had no intent of like really joining forces and having business partners. We were both working with the same business coach, but not at the same time. So we somehow found each other. I'm giving you like the cliff notes. And then I said something on one of Jen's videos because I was like, this girl's awesome.
Like, are you my brunette twin? And I was like, probs.
I was like, you're my twin. So I saw we were doing similar work. And so we had done some Zoom calls. We've done like a little bit of like unofficial, like just kind of masterminding, like a little bit of stuff, but it wasn't that much. And then a few months went by and I kept thinking about her. And I was like, why am I thinking about this girl? That sounded wrong, but you know what I mean. And I was like, I need to reach out to her. And I had this idea for this academy, which obviously we'll get into. So I was like, there's this need in the marketplace for something and there's this hole that's not being filled. And I kind of was studying and seeing what else existed. And there was a lot of these other academies that are great and fantastic, but none of them are niche down to health and wellness professionals. And I was like, well, I was a health coach. I would have wanted that. And Jen was like, yeah, me too. So I called her up. We had a conversation and the rest is history.
I love it. That's very, here's one of the reasons why I love it. So my husband, we've been married for almost 9 years. We met because he knocked on my limo window at 2 a.m. on a Saturday and we got married 6 months later. So that's why I love your story of stalking her via video. It's like, roll with it.
Well, the funny part, I was actually already on Angie's email list and I was totally like, I like this girl. I don't know anything about her, but so I was creepishly stalking her while she was creepishly stalking me. So.
But another reason why I love that stalker story is because you guys really connected because of your energy, right? Like you guys showed up authentically, you showed who you were, you just were yourselves, and you were drawn to each other and you were connected with each other and you were able to do business together. Now you guys obviously co-created an incredible academy. You guys just had a phenomenal launch, but the process is still the same, right? When it comes to ladies in network marketing, you guys talk about them a lot. I love watching both of your independent Facebook lives because you guys talk to network marketing ladies a lot, but you guys showed up authentically and you connected to one another. And over the course of time and building that relationship created something amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it really was just an initial, live video. Which is so funny because that's like our platform where we really thrive and spend our time on. And that's where we get a lot of our clients and our pull from a lot of our clients. And it's interesting because that's kind of where we met. I saw her on some videos. I would watch them every day. She was watching my videos, watching my stuff. And then I was like, wow. And then I just called her one day and then,
The rest is history. I love it.
I'm like, this story could go so long. We're actually going to talk on it because we get this question a lot. This is actually the number one question that we are asked.
Really?
So, yeah.
Girls will take time on coaching calls to ask us how we met. And we're like,
we all just want to know.
Do you want to know today?
That is funny. All right.
Really
What?
They're just really intrigued. And it's like, it is interesting. Duos are really intriguing to people. So it literally was so funny to me because I remember calling her being like, all right, I feel like everything in life is, and same thing with these girls who are network marketing listening. If this is a sales pitch or you're really nervous to approach someone, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So I was like, okay, the worst thing that happens is this girl's like, you're freaking weird and crazy. Like, no, it just hangs up the phone on me. And I would just go cry in my room. And then that would be the rest of my life. But I was like, all right, like maybe, who knows? So
yeah. No, I love it. I love it a lot. And you guys, like you said, you guys do a lot of amazing videos. You guys found each other from live videos. I actually got to feel like I knew you guys a little bit through your live videos. It's really a phenomenal thing. And, you know, we have Carrie Driscoll, who's doing all the great interviews about video and kind of the how-tos, because she is like the network marketing video creation guru. It's not I love video, but she is like, she is the thing, right? So I'm so excited to kind of just piggyback on that and support that. Yeah, video is not only important, but it's critical to building relationships and getting your message out and your personality out too, though, right? Like, it's not just your network marketing message, it's your personality and who you are.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think, you know, we would not by any means be at the level of, you know, on paper success where we are right now had it not been for live video, specifically Facebook live video, because that's, I mean, the exponential growth for us as individuals and then for our joint program has just been, you know, unprecedented. And people will compare success and go, how did you guys do this? And it was like, we got in before anyone was doing it, stepped forward, both simultaneously and separately, having this idea of, you know, Facebook was never previously used for personal development or business style content so much, where, you know, prior to Facebook Live, it was like, where do you go for personal development or business development? It's like Periscope, YouTube, that was, or maybe just, you know, Google. And then all of a sudden, you know, it started to explode on Facebook Live. And now that really is a huge resource for so many people. So, I mean, we just jumped on it both individually when it came out. And it was like, wait, this is so much faster, so much more efficient, such an amazing way to connect and build that trust with our audience. So, I mean, I think everyone who owns a business needs to get on Facebook Live.
Just saying,
yeah.
you know, just
saying.
do it. So let's talk about this, because I've watched you guys, right? And you guys are very clear in who you are. You're very clear in who you serve. You're very clear on what your message is. And then you're very clear, even niche down even more to that within each video, what it is you're talking about. And I think that that's one of the things that I'm so impressed with not just the clarity of your audience, which is one thing that I want to talk about, but also the clarity of each individual message. I find that to be really, really powerful. And I'd love to kind of walk through that process with you guys, if you don't mind kind of going through from, you know, step A to step whatever, C, D, I don't know, whatever step it is. But kind of talk about that progression, because I think that and listen, the ladies who are listening, I want you to understand that there is a wisdom here. These are very, very successful women that have grown their businesses. You know, I know Jen at least has had, you know, success in network marketing in the past. They know what they're talking about, and this applies to your business just as much as it does to theirs. And so understand that the process that they're following, the system that they're following, is wisdom to you. Similar to, you know, when Anthony Trucks talked about his process and Ryan Lee talked about his process, there is a wisdom to all of this. And so please don't sit there and watch this interview and be like, it doesn't pertain to me because my network marketing company isn't in health and wellness, or my company is in health and wellness, but it's network marketing and not my own. Please understand that regardless, or despite that, it still is the same process, right? Do you guys feel the same way?
Oh, absolutely. I would say about 80% of the students who have gone through our coaching program are affiliated with some network marketing company, whether or not they are fully building that and trying to, you know, increase their rank or move to the top of the company, or if they're just using it as a side passive income. Most of the ladies that we've worked with are in network marketing. So that's definitely an area that we know well in that sense.
Yeah, we have everything from essential oils, Beachbody, Isogenics. I mean, so we have very health and wellness health and fitness specific ones. And then we do have some that are more wellness based. We have some girls that are more with like an oil line or something that use more of the wellness field. So honestly, majority of network marketing companies right now are health or wellness, I would say. Not all are health and fitness maybe, but most of them are anyway. So for a lot of these women, absolutely. I mean, a lot of this applies to them regardless if they're in Beachbody or Isogenics or they're doing some other company.
Awesome. All right, so let's walk through this. So first is, you guys are really clear on who you are. And I know that seems really like maybe an interesting place to start. And I know that we've had, you know, Seema Alexander's interview talks about branding and positioning, especially, and Martin Whale talks about branding, but I want to dig into it again with you guys, just because I think it's so important to understand who you are and how you show up and what your story is. So can you kind of go through just briefly that process?
Yeah. I'm like, wow, where do we begin? That's like
just a brief, really, and I'll lead it for you, but a lot of it is really just owning who you are, right? Like just really showing up and being willing to be authentic and willing to be vulnerable, maybe even a little bit, sharing your story. What is your take on this idea of who you are and your story and you versus the company, right? Because that's another big one, you versus the company.
Yeah, these are a lot of different things. I think one good place to start is just to kind of say, one of the biggest things that we hear from people when we poll our audience is, especially for the network marketers, is I don't know what kind of content to create. And they are a little bit stuck on how to become creative. What does my audience want to hear? And it's because they are, like you said, kind of in the mindset of being part of the company brand instead of their own personal brand. So we really teach people to own you, the brand. But one of the big things in terms of what do I create, I think live video has really almost put like, what is it called? I guess a magnifying glass on the problem that was already there. So if you are, on Facebook and you're posting, you're on Instagram, you're making graphics, whatever, you can kind of just, half do it and get by. But if you're on live video and you don't know your audience and you don't know what to say, you got nothing. So the biggest thing that we hear pertaining to live video is, well, I don't know what to talk about. And the underlying issue, the biggest foundational piece that they really don't so much teach in most network marketing companies is that if you don't know your niche and you don't know your expertise and what makes you different, then you got nothing to go off of. So that is one of the first things that we definitely teach our people. That is the foundational piece, really understanding who that person is that you're speaking to. Because once you know who that person is, you will be unstoppable. You will be creating so much content, you won't know where to fit it all in. Angie, I feel like this is...
Yeah, for me, it's creativity, I always say, or lack of content isn't creativity issue, it's a not knowing your avatar issue. Mm-hmm. So Jen and I are so clear on exactly what we do and who we serve that we could literally create content till I die when I'm like 150. I'm drinking. Like literally, like I don't even we have days where we're more tired, so our creativity just feels like suppressed, like any creative entrepreneur or social entrepreneur. But like we know her, we know our avatar so well. We're like, okay, we know what she likes, we know what she would need, and we reverse engineer a lot. So we pull our people. It's not like we're in this test tube of like, we're going to create this content and then put it out there in the world and then just keep creating content. That's not how content creation works. And I think a lot of women do it that way. They're just like sitting at their computer and they're like, okay, this is going to be great. People are going to love this, but like, they're not really feeling it out. They haven't posted it yet, so they don't really know, but they're like drafting this whole blog, and it's like, they've never even sprinkled or breadcrumbed any of this concept yet, so they don't even know if it works in the marketplace. And Jen and I always say, like, it all that matters is like what the market really wants. Like, you could have the best idea, but if the market isn't wanting it and there's no demand, it's not really going to work or be profitable. So what we'll do is we'll pull our people, like Jen said, and we'll talk to them and say, hey, what are your biggest struggles as a health and wellness coach? What do you wish to achieve this year? What are your pain points? What are your pleasure points? Like, what do you desire as a health coach? We'll take their answers, literally verbatim, their language, and we'll craft those into titles. So we'll take all of the responses in our private community or even on our public pages, and they'll say like, oh, I just wish I could figure out why I need to build an email list or how to build my email list. And then we'll do a video on like why you need to build your email list. Like literally, it's actually easier than you think because we just listen to our people.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge fault. I think too many coaches out there are not listening to their people and they're just creating what they want to create versus like, what does the market actually need and what is the market asking you for?
Yeah.
Yes. So much listening. I was saying it over again. I want to back up actually, because you both said something, and I think that there's 2 points that I just want to maybe touch on a little bit further, because I know that there's struggles that women in network marketing have. And the first is niching down, right? How many times have we met somebody who sells, I've used skincare a lot as an example in this summit just because it's super easy. How many times have we not met somebody who's selling skincare and they say, oh, well, my target's everyone with skin, because that's what they're trained to say, right? Oh, who's your market? Anyone with skin, right? I'm not saying that facetiously, ladies, like it's true. Like I know you guys, I know you have said that, and I know that that's why you're going to get tripped up, right? So the first is almost like this unknown of niching down, which we talked about a lot in this summit, but also the fear behind it, right? It's like, if I'm so targeted, I'm not going to grow my business. I've heard that a lot. There's this big fear behind that, right? So could you guys talk from your own experience a little bit more? I mean, you've talked about your personal experience, right? The more you guys have niched down, the easier it is to create content. But even maybe some examples from your network marketing gals, or, you know, experience you've had in the past with that.
Oh yeah, we've got lots of content on this. I mean, just even, you know, some network marketing companies are a little bit more, they'll say outwardly, like, literally talk to everyone.
Right.
And I've had some girls who will come up to me and they're like, I don't know, like, I'm not getting sales. I don't know what to do. I was at my kid's soccer game and I went up to the male coach and I was trying to sell him this like energizer thing. And it just felt really weird. And I was like, because you don't connect with that person. That's not your ideal client avatar. And, you know, I don't know if you guys really got into that at all, but essentially your avatar is like the one person who is just like that perfect dream client. They're coachable, they're open, they're ready, they can afford your services, and they're probably very similar to you, maybe a few steps behind if you had some kind of weight loss transformation, or maybe you had really bad cystic acne and now you healed it naturally. So it's that person that is you circa, you know, a few minutes ago, a few years ago. So that's kind of the first piece in terms of that. And so, yeah, like a lot of companies will tell their people to talk to everyone. We're like, when you talk to everyone, you talk to no one. Probably have heard that before, but we were actually doing a really fun presentation. And one of our students was like, you know, the big concern with niching down is that when you are speaking to everyone, you've got this big pool, giant fisherman's net. And then when you niche down, I know it can be scary because, you know, it's almost like you're fishing to this smaller group of people. And I said, that is in itself, that one little example she gave was the perfect illustration of the biggest myth in marketing. And so I'm like, that's not what's actually happening. What's actually happening when you niche down, you go from being just another person who's vanilla, Angie's favorite word, vanilla, plain, generic, screaming in the newsfeed going, want to lose weight, feel great, and be happy? It's like, yeah, that's what everyone's saying. So when you actually are speaking to your avatar and really diving into their specific pain points, it's like blowing a dog whistle that only your avatar can hear. And so all of a sudden, the people who have got, you know, if your avatar, your niche is people who have 100+ pounds to lose, all of a sudden, every single one of those people, they go through 10 different people in health coaching, and I help people feel great and get confident. I help busy people feel great and lose weight. And then if you say, I help this busy moms who are struggling to lose the baby weight lose 100+ pounds, it's like, oh, that woman knows how to serve me. Or if you're specifically niched down to bikini fitness competitors, that's a very specific thing. If you're going to help people lose a certain body fat percentage in the 12 weeks prior to a bikini competition, that is a specific thing. I mean, we've got so many great examples from, you know, the people in our group. You know, we really teach them a whole formula behind it. But I mean, I think that that's one of the most important things that you can do in a network marketing company or just in business in general, really having that clear sign outside your door.
I love the dog whistle example. I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
Because I
I came up with that and I was like, that is so perfect.
Yeah, I came up with that in that moment and I was like, wait.
You're like, write that down. That's good.
I was like, oh my God, this is perfect.
It is scary for one of our girls, but even in marketing, they say the most expensive thing you can do that's actually going to cost you a lot of money is actually trying to attract everyone. So right now, a huge part of the reason why Jen and I became super profitable very fast is because there was no of that, like, oh, I wonder if they do what I need. Is that academy for me? There is no question. You go to our sales page and you literally are like, or watch our videos for like a day and you'd be like, I know who they are and who they serve. And within 10 seconds, not even, you can make an assessment. Not for me. They're not for me. That's not what I need. Or that's exactly what I need. We literally have girls that would write us messages or emails and say, I really want to join your academy, or I'm going to join because you seem to do exactly what I need help with. Like, they literally will say that to us. Or they'll say, well, I was going to join another business coaching program, but you guys serve health and wellness coaches, so I'm joining you guys. Like, that is literally the power of like them seeing like the consumer, the customer going, ugh, that competition's over there and it looks good too, but you seem like you get me more. And at the end of the day, if you do that, you'll win the customer because they feel heard, they feel seen, they feel like you understand their pains. And if you understand someone's pains, I mean, you win the sale, 100%. You do. And it's true, you should, because we're actually taking the time to make it specific to them versus like any online entrepreneur doing anything will help you sell it. Like, what does that even mean? Like that could literally mean like we help like lawnmowers like start their online business like locally. Like that could really mean the most random.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's one of the first steps, you know, because you guys know, obviously I'm in network marketing. I'm in an organic wellness company, and it's the
Oh, cool.
first thing I do with my teammates is I have like a strategy session with them. I'm like, okay, who are your people, right? Is it going to be the type 2 diabetes people? Is it going to be the weight loss people? Is it going to be the, like, who are your people? And they look at me like, what are you talking about? I've never heard that. I'm like, great. Now we're getting somewhere, you know what I mean? Because it's the first step. Like literally, it's like, don't worry about the products. Don't worry about the comp plan. Like literally don't worry about any of that stuff right now. Who are you going to serve? Like, let's just dive into that first, and then you can figure out everything else later.
And I saw the power in that right away, even as a health coach. When I'll always remember this day, I did a video all about how I made 8K in one day. And what happened is I done bikini shows. I was really afraid to niche down to helping women with like yo-yo dieting and binge eating. And that's what I was struggling with. That's what I wanted to coach women on. But I was so afraid because I was like, I need to serve everyone. And like, I have to help everyone get healthy. Like so corny. Like I literally like want to go puke when I hear that. Like, like, it's just like, what does that mean? Right. So I was like doing all of that. I was like, yay, I help everyone just feel good and women feel empowered in their bodies. Like whatever that means too. And so then one day I sent out to my list, I sent the story of how I got off stage my last show and I was like binging on pizza and I was like crying behind stage and I was like, I'm done. And at the end, I just had a little blurb that was like, if you are struggling with this or you can relate to this, hit reply and let me know. I'm offering one-on-one coaching. I literally made up a package. Like it was 1K and I got like 8 people in the next 24 hours to buy it. And I truly believe that one email got a woman to say, oh, wow. One, it had story in it, which we can go into in a minute, which is like, there was so much power in that because she wasn't just like, hey, buy my program. It was like, oh my God, Angie experienced what I experienced. And then at the end, it was like story. And then it flowed into the sale really nicely where it was like, hey, if this is something you need help with too, I'm going to show you what I'm doing to heal myself. And if not, that's fine. But it was just like very nonchalant. And I remember being like, oh my God, when I started speaking to that specific woman who's dealing with emotional eating, when I shared my story that I was so afraid to share, it's like my business literally changed in 24 hours. So that's why we encourage women to do it because it's like, what if right now they're just sending out generic vanilla stuff to their email list? They're just staying super like almost like very PC, right? They're too afraid to like take a stance and be polar in their message. And then it's not really connecting with anyone. So it's just like, oh, that girl's nice. She's a cute health coach. Like, ooh, another kale smoothie recipe. Like just what I needed, right? Like if it's stuff they can Google almost, it's like, it's 2017. So it's just like, it doesn't really stick. And I do think we should take into account, like, listen, this could have worked in 2008. If you would be interviewing us right now and it was 2008, we'd be like, yeah, tell people you get them healthy. But the market's saturated now and social media is used for business now. So what you have to do now in 2017 is very, very different because how many users are on Facebook right now? Like, what is it? Like 7 billion or something? It's like a crazy number, right? So that's what I think. I think I saw it myself. And I think that Jen and I, even with our students, it's so awesome to see women be like, wow, like even today in our group, they were posting like, wow, I crafted this story or I made this post for this woman. And it was so much more direct and niche. And wow, I got like a good response. I finally got traction on my page. And we're like, yeah. And that's like so cool. Like we love hearing that, right? Like that's what we want. We want them to get traction and really just be brave enough to share their story.
Absolutely. So that kind of leads me to the second point that I want to make sure we cover. And I'm so glad that we spent the time that we did on that because that to me, that is step one, right? And that is something that's really kind of challenging to wrap your mind around if it's a new concept to you in network marketing, right? Like typically you're not hearing these things, which is exactly why we're doing this summit, right? It's exactly why we're putting all this great information out there for all the ladies to listen to is step one, know who you are, know your story, make sure that, the company you're with the products are in alignment with you and your passions and your desires, not just because, but then you guys talk a lot about content, right? And you've talked about live video and you've talked about content. And the thing I often hear women in this industry say is, yeah, I share the before and after pictures, right? Or I share the company blog, or, I make a video on my kale recipe, or, I show how I'm using my skincare, like, and that's all that they know. That's all content means, right? So can we kind of dive in a little bit about this idea of content, creating content, how to, we already talked a little bit on the how to, right? Once you know your people, what to talk about, but kind of, expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to kind of piggyback on kind of what we were saying in terms of knowing your niche, like for if like you said, if that's a new concept for someone, they're like, I think I kind of know what you mean, but I would love to give you just like 2 or 3 examples of like what a sign outside your door would look like so that you can really be like, oh, I see how these are different. So a lot of network marketers will say, I help people feel fit and healthy and grow an online business or something, right? That's like the no duh, very general, generic version. And some of the things we help our ladies with is really figuring out how to phrase that in a way that speaks to their avatar. So one of our clients, she works with young professionals. She's in her 20s. And so her sign outside her door, we helped her craft it and says, I help young professionals ditch the dine out diet and get fit without compromising their social life. So right in there, we've got some pain and pleasure points, which I'll let Angie kind of dive more into that in a sec. Another one, might be I help yo-yo dieters conquer their inner critic and find food freedom or find freedom from food guilt. So again, we're focusing on the food guilt. Yo-yo dieters, we know exactly who we're talking to. One of the women in our program right now, she's wanted to focus on faith-based women. And she's like, how do I say that? I feel that people don't have a big enough why sometimes. And so I want to be able to incorporate, Bible verses in my online accountability groups to really help support them so that they can feel more empowered each day. And so I was like, I don't know why, I feel like flex your faith would be like a cool way. So we came up with, I help busy moms. What was it? I help busy moms. Oh my gosh. I help busy moms find their fitness focus by flexing their faith. Lots of F's, but great alliteration. And so right there, it's like, oh, in one short sentence, I know exactly what this woman does. If I'm into my faith, I'm going to be driven to this woman. If I'm like, nope, that's not for me, I know that she's not my coach. So, that's something that we coach on a lot in depth, but just to give you like kind of a little example, a little taste of what a really narrowed down sign outside your door hook would actually look like.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole thing that we teach within that is to really focus in on those pain and pleasure points. And that's a huge, huge piece, a huge motivator of what actually makes captivating, interesting, scroll stopping content. And this is probably one of Angie's favorite things to talk about.
Yay!
Yeah, it's fun. I love content creation. Like, to me, it's like the most fun thing to do ever. So I always say to girls, like, first off, if you're listening to this and you don't like creating content, it doesn't mean that you can't have an online brand, but you gotta like somehow find a way to fall in love with it, because it's going to be your job 24/7. Like, literally. And Jen and I always talk about this, like how funny it is that we have some students we've had in the past or currently that they're very resistant to wanting to be creative, and I don't want to be creative and I'm not creative, and they like give themselves these labels or limiting beliefs around content creation, like, well, other girls can create it and they were born creative, and like all this like BS that we're like, listen, you're in a state of resistance and you better shift to a state of seeing how you can make this work, or believing that you are a creative person or going to become one now in your adult life, because your job is going to be throughout the week thinking, how can I bring more of me to the surface? How can I share more tips? How can I solve more problems? I'm always thinking like, how can I solve a problem? How can I share more myself? That's like all we do all day long. Problem solver, entrepreneur, sharing myself as a personal brand. Like, that's it. It's not like rocket science, but I think a lot of people get so nervous for content creation because they think it's got to be like earth shattering every day. And I don't think it does. I think if you know the problem you solve, then it's there. And I think another thing is too, with the taglines that Jen was talking about, is sell people on what they want, not necessarily what they need. So a lot of people, they want to sell you on what you need, but we all know as humans, especially female consumers, I mean, I'm probably not going to buy a clean eating program because maybe my end result isn't that I want to be a clean eater. My end result may be burning belly fat or something. So I'm going to buy a belly fat program. I'm not going to buy like a clean eating program. So it's like, what do I need? I probably need to learn how to do clean eating. And that's the tool in the system that she's going to use to give me my results. But what is the end game that I actually want? It's that I want to burn belly fat, or I want to heal my thyroid, or whatever the end goal is. So we always say, like, what do people actually want? This is sales. Like, we have to be honest with women. At the end of the day, to get someone in your door is the hardest part. But once they're in your door, you can show them the rest. So Lululemon, they know how to get you in their door. And once you're in there, you're like, shoot, I'm about to go spend like 10 grand because they are speaking to me. And they have like this avatar, like this yoga loving girl that is just like in their head, that they've crafted her so well. And they know what will get her inside the door. They know what language to use in their marketing. And then once you're in there, you're like, wow, they're about spirituality and friendship and all these other things. So we tell our women, don't be afraid that you're not going to say in your tagline everything you do. Like a lot of these women want it to be like 10 paragraphs long. Like, I help women overcome blah, 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 and feel safe and feel great. It's like, what do you do? Like, it's like literally a paragraph long. So we always say, like Jen gave some great examples, keep it to a sentence ideally, maybe a sub-tagline, but after a sentence, I think you're going to lose people anyway. They're going to be like, are you a life coach, a health coach, a spiritual coach, a yoga teacher? What the heck do you do? And you don't want your customer confused, because guess what happens when your customer is confused? They're out.
Yeah.
They're like, bye, I'm going to someone else.
Yeah, focusing on the how is probably one of the biggest mistakes that people make. Like Angie said, in 2008, running a clean eating challenge would have gone really well. But today, people are like, no, I want to learn how to like build a booty or burn belly fat or lose the baby weight. So if that's part of your title, that's so much more enticing than come and learn clean eating. It's like, okay, we've seen that. Like everyone and their mom is running a clean eating challenge. Like, give me something different. So focusing on the how, people want to add in their tagline or say like, I help people feel great with superfood nutrition. And it's like, oh my gosh, like you got to do something a little bit more. It's got to be a little sexier, a little bit more tangible than that. And that kind of like one of the other things that we've been working on a lot with our crew that I think would definitely help these ladies is that a lot of our clients, they want to include a lot of mindset pieces in their hook. And they're like, well, I might help people burn belly fat, but like, that's not what I'm about. Like, I really want to help people with mindset because that's really what's important. It's like, what is your client searching, your potential client? They're not going to YouTube and like, how do I break through my limiting beliefs? They're looking up, how do I burn belly fat? You know what I mean? So it's like, if they're not searching it and they're not typing it in and that's not the language they're using, they're not going to buy it. There's a difference between someone looking at something that you've created and saying, wow, that's a really cool idea, and someone actually saying, I want to pay money for that. Right. So if you want to get people to pay money for your stuff, it's got to be really, really tangible. It's got to be a pain point or a pleasure point that they have been wanting to work on, something that they've been saying to themselves, over the last couple weeks, months, or years. So I think that's a really important thing. And in terms of like the mindset stuff, everyone wants to be like, well, I help people with confidence, but I help them find their inner badass. I help them do this or that. And it's like, well, of course you do. And Angie said this to the teacher, people, she's like, we don't think that you guys are like these horrible, superficial people that just like want to give them a pill and be like, see ya. Like, we know that you want to, like, of course you're going to help them with mindset. That's kind of, in the coaching world, that's kind of an understood. The client doesn't know that they need that yet, though. They don't know that they need personal development. Maybe they've never even heard of it. So if you're leading with something that they don't know that they need, like you can't tell someone something that they don't know, or they don't know that they need. So I think that
I'm taking notes on this actually, because I'm going to do a video on this. So this is so good. Jen, like, see, this is how we do it. Right now, I'm literally crafting a title. If they aren't searching it, they aren't buying it. The market doesn't give a shit. If it's implied and understood, it's not sexy enough to sell. Like, think about that. It's so true, right? Like, it's just crazy. Like we always say, if it's not on like Amazon reviews, people aren't searching it. If it's not on Google, it's not on YouTube, which is amazing SEO search platform. Probably a woman's not looking for it. So you can create this most amazing like mindset, blah, blah, blah course. But unless there's a good handful of people looking for that, I mean, you're going to have a really difficult time selling it. But this is the biggest resistance we get from our students is, well, Angie, I'm not just a health and wellness coach. Like, Jen, I'm not just a health and wellness coach. We're like, we know there's more to you, but like.
And then they all want to become life coaches. They're like, but I do mind, body, soul.
Yeah.
So we're like, yes, it's hard. Yeah, of course they all overlap, but it's got to be tangible. It's got to be something that they can measure.
So you
can tell we get really fired up about this.
I'm so happy that you do. That's why I'm thrilled to have you guys here. And that's why I'm going to say two things. The first is, and this is my little plug, right? Like, if you ladies have not purchased Lifetime Access, you want to. Why? Because you want to come on and listen to what Jen and Angie just said again and again and again. And it's not just you. I'm listening, like, you're not dealing, I'm taking notes too, like, for real. Like, this is good stuff, right? And so this is my little plug, but I mean it and I'm joking, but I'm also very serious that the value of Lifetime Access is that you do get to come, and when you're feeling stuck or when you're feeling resistance or when you're feeling like there is a lack of flow or something isn't working for you, seriously, you come back and you listen to what the wisdom that Jen and Angie are talking about, and you're like, oh, I'm hearing it differently this time, or oh, that's a point that I didn't hear the first time around. You guys, listening to something over and over again is the best way to get the results from any type of training that you listen to, period. Whether it's this summit or it's a podcast or whatever you're listening to, a workshop, listening to something over and over and again, you're going to pick up different things that you missed the first time, and you're at a different place, a different mindset, a different situation, a different challenge, a different success story, whatever. You're going to hear different things at a different time that will continue to serve you. Promise.
Even with our course for 3 months, we know that with our students too. I mean, a lot of them, it's now sinking in like week 4 or 5 that like we went over in week 1, and it's just interesting. And we have some that literally the last week, like the last day of the program, they're like, oh my God, I finally get my hook. Like they get it. And then we have some girls who are like totally get certain concepts and don't, and know that that's normal. Like, don't be hard on yourself if you're watching this and a lot of these concepts are foreign, or you've never been into writing or copywriting. I mean, it's a foreign skill for a lot of people. It's almost like a new language. So be patient with it, but you can learn it if you're willing to learn it. Like, I just came back from a Jim Quick learning conference, and he literally was like, how many of you think you have ADD, learning problems, but you're like successful entrepreneurs? And he's like, what if I told you that if you're passionate enough, you can literally learn anything you want? And it's true. If you love something, how many times are you like so obsessed? You're like, I will figure it out. I'll Google it. But if you don't really care about something, you're not going to figure it out. So most of these women or men watching, I assume you're passionate, so you can figure it out. Like, you can always figure it out if you have that drive behind it. So you can and content creation, I know Jen will talk about this too, but it's like, you kind of like have to get really messy with it first. And we always say, like, if your first draft is beautiful, like, you started too late, which means it's never going to be amazing. Like, my first videos are, even ones like we did 8 months ago, we're like, oh my God, what? We've already like, like up leveled and matured and just like already like just up leveled in so many ways already. So it's funny to watch stuff and be like, okay, now I would do the video this way now. And it's only been a few months. So you're constantly watching your old content and being like, oh my God, I'm really glad I put that out there, but I probably want to redo that now. So.
And I love that. I love that you said that. And kind of piggybacking on a lot of what you guys have already said with the content. And we're going to maybe kind of get into in a minute the whole like secret with like Amazon and Oprah.com and, you know, YouTube and like whatever. But before we do, I feel like one thing I just want to make sure to make really clear for people that you guys have kind of skipped over a little bit just because you're in it all the time. And I know a lot of these ladies, again, this is a new concept to run their network marketing business like any other online business versus like the old school network marketing. And there's a lot of grace and space for that. And that's why I'm so passionate and about this summit, is to really support women in doing that. You guys talk a lot about content creation. I talk a lot about content creation. I want to go over what that is, because content creation is not, I don't have anything good, but like, this is my pen, and these are the ways that I use my pen, and my pen is the best pen, and you need my pen because, right? And I'm being a little facetious, but ladies, I love you. I love all of you that are watching. And listen, we all know there's men on this summit too. What's up, dudes? I love you guys too. But that's not content creation. So, I mean, I don't.
Oh my gosh, no, I love that you just said that.
Here's my pen. We should do a video on it. Like, here's my drink. Buy my drink.
No, we shouldn't do a drink though. This would be a great video because everyone's got their shake and they're like, my shake has all these nutrients and it's the best. And it's like pictures of you doing selfies with your shake. Like, no, like so what? Like, give it the so what test. How is that valuable to your audience? If it's not valuable to them, then they're not going to come back. Why would people not just find you on the newsfeed? Why would people go and type your name into the Facebook search bar? Why are they going to click get notifications from Angie Lee? Because her content is actually valuable and is constantly solving a problem for me. Your audience is built on great content. So there's probably people, if you're watching this, who you follow and you're like, wow, I love to read their blogs. I love to watch their videos. I love to read their posts every single day. Because you are getting something out of it. They are educating you, they are inspiring you in some way, or they're making you laugh, you know, humor, education. And then they're maybe sprinkling in some sales pitches here and there because they've already built that know, like, and trust. They've already built that relationship with you to be able to transition into a sale. Even the ladies who we work with, you know, they learn some new concepts and they're like, okay, boom, I'm gonna put out this new program and I'm gonna sell it. I'm like, to who? Who are you selling this to? You don't have an audience yet. You haven't built any level of know, like, and trust. People are only going to buy from you if you've given, like, too many people in network marketing, it's like, I'm going to cold message this person, inbox them, and be like, buy my stuff, right? And essentially, that's what you're doing when you're posting on social media. Someone doesn't know you, buy my lipstick, buy my shake, buy my fitness program. Why is someone going to buy from you? Not because you put an invitation post out there, but because they like what you're doing and they want to know how they can work with you at a higher level. So it's just kind of a way of reframing it. And of course, newbies in network marketing, they're doing a lot of the company trainings. And so they're kind of, their news feeds are probably saturated with similar posts. And, you know, if you don't know better, how can you do better? Right, so exactly. The only thing that, you know, certain companies teaching is like, post about these products. Here are some sample posts and stock photos from your company. That's not, like you said, that's not content. That's not content creation. That's you being a foot soldier for your company. You have to ask yourself, and sorry companies, but you know, this is the truth. Who is it actually benefiting? Mm-hmm. If the three of us go on our social media and plaster a picture of a shake, we're not getting a sale. No one's buying from us. Maybe we'll get $20 from a commission. Who is that really benefiting? It is brand awareness for the company that you work for. It is not helping money go into your pocket. So I think that's a huge thing to really touch on. And then this idea of, and you guys have maybe heard this before, that when you're posting on social media, you want to be able to create curiosity, not resistance. We've maybe heard that, you know, that you don't want to necessarily hard sell people, be talking exclusively about your products and your company because you want people to be like, oh, well, what are they doing? Or how did they get that transformation? But I think there's an element that's maybe not discussed so much, and it's this idea of inclusiveness. When people go to your social media platform and you are only using terminology that people inside the bubble, inside your company, if it's only stuff that they're familiar with and the content is only relevant to them, how are you attracting new people, cold market, into your circle? Well, you're not. You're repelling them because you're saying, you're not in the cool kid club. You don't know what Success Club is. You don't know what nutritional cleansing is. You don't know what a black level presenter is. Well, if you're celebrating people on your team and you're using only terminology that people in the bubble know, then how can they really get a sense of what it's like to be in that community? I think that's a huge, huge mistake that people make. And then when you go on various social media platforms, specifically on Facebook or Instagram, you know, I'm like, oh, network marketer, oh, gonna, you know, and you immediately are going to get written off by people. That's just the hard truth. It's 2017. There's a lot of people in this business. It's oversaturated. But if you do it in a way that's classy and do it in the way that we're kind of explaining now, and, you know, I'm sure a lot of your other experts teaching this. And additionally, you know, I just think that there's a really amazing way to do network marketing if it's done well, if it's done right.
Absolutely. And you know, one of the things that you just said that I think is so huge to just kind of say again, and then I'd love to hear Angie's take on this too, is a lot of times when we create content, I do it occasionally, you guys do it much more than I do, but you create content that solves a problem that you technically could sell, do sell, would sell, whatever, without selling. So for example, here's my beautiful pen. I want to sell my pen. It's so wonderful. And so your content is all about how to, I don't know, how to's are horrible, but like how to choose the right pen, or, you know, if you're struggling to find a pen that fits you, right? It has nothing to do with your product. And you're not even talking about or encouraging people to buy your product, right? You're solving a problem for them. Pen's a horrible example, but you're solving a problem for them that has nothing to do with what you're selling, but it could. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're choosing to give value and solve a problem outside of your selling.
Totally. I mean, if I love it.
Well, because I firmly believe, and I've been a saleswoman since like 3 years old. Like, I was like lemonade stands. Like, I am a saleswoman till the day I die. And I believe that if you let me know enough about the benefits of that freaking pen, how it's smooth, it's going to make me more confident as an entrepreneur. Honestly, you put a price tag on that, Jen and I could probably sell it next week to hundreds of people.
Totally.
Like, and that's a bad thing, but it's like, if you know how to craft things in a way where you're like, if you have that marketing brain, you know that if you give it the benefit-laden language and you really stress, like, this is going to change your life, and this pen is going to be what makes you a successful business owner. I'm buying that pen. Hell yeah, I'm buying that pen. Mm-hmm. So like, it seems like such a funny like example, but like, this is such a like, this is so cool. We're actually probably gonna bring this up to our people. It's so funny because like the protein cliche too. And I call this like the Kardashian effect. So are we trying to make our women famous? No, of course not. I don't actually want to we don't want to be Kim Kardashian, but the Kardashian effect. What happens tomorrow if Kim Kardashian comes out with a new makeup line? Everyone buys it. And why do they buy it? Because it's Kim and they believe in Kim. So same thing with building a personal brand. I'm so passionate about personal branding because I honestly think when you build a personal brand, it doesn't matter what you sell. If you have that trust with people, they will buy it, which is why Jen and I tomorrow could sell a butt cream and we actually would probably get a significant amount of sales because we've got a loyal tribe. Are we going to sell butt cream? Probably not. Probably not.
Never say never. Never say never.
Who knows what our next endeavor is? We could sell socks. We'll say socks. You know, like that say like Angie and Jen on them. I don't know. But like that to me, that level of like personal branding. I know Kim Kardashian, like they're like way up their celebrities, but it's just interesting how that works. So we try to tell women like no one actually gives a toot about the product. They actually care more about you. And I know this happened to Jen when she was in her network marketing company, and happened to me in network marketing. Women would write me and literally write, hey, so I'm not sure about this fish oil, but I like you a lot. And I know that you seem to be reputable and I trust you. They would literally use the word trust. So where can I buy it? Same thing with me. If I see a girl that I like, a personal brand, and she's using some product, I'll buy it because if I like her, I trust her. I don't really need to do the research on the grams of protein. I just want to know if she uses it and she gets results. Like the game of people just connecting with humans and saying, if you take something, I want it. And especially women. I mean, how many of us, like your girlfriend has that dress or she's taken that supplement or whatever it is. I'm like, where did you get it? Send me the link. I don't even need to know anything more. Like it worked for you. It worked for me. And so I think we overthink, like, it's almost like this selfish feeling when we join network marketing. Like I have this shake that is so amazing. It's going to like reverse aging and change lives. And like, it could be an amazing product, but unless you build that trust with your people, you're just going to lose them in that process of caring too much about your product and less about you as a personal brand. Like I think that's just the unsexy truth that needs to be told. It's probably not what they want to hear right now, but it's what needs to be said.
But I think that, you know what, ladies, you might not want to hear that might make you feel a little uncomfortable, but understand it and accept it for the gift that it is, because it's okay for it to feel uncomfortable, because that means that you have the opportunity to do something different to get a different result, versus if Angie and Jen weren't willing to be super honest with you, you're going to stay where you're at. And I know you don't want to be where you're still at, because that's why you're here, right? You're here to move forward in your business and to change more lives and to make more money and to understand how to more efficiently and effectively grow your business. So wrapping tying all of this together in a pretty bow with my pen is one, personal branding, right? So really embracing who you are and sharing with the world who you are, not being afraid to put yourself out there and to stop kind of almost hiding behind company before and after stock photos, videos, and really owning who you are and loving it, no matter who that is. Let me tell you something. When Periscope first came out, and I was live streaming on it and I got some business out of it, my son was like really, really little and nursing like all the time. So I would put him down. I thought he was going to be quiet. I thought he was napping. I'm like, okay, I've got 10 minutes to Periscope. This is going to be great. 30 seconds later, this kid was waking up screaming. And I'm like, excuse me, hold on 1 second. I'm just gonna like pop him on my boob a second. And then I just kept rolling. People loved that. I'm not joking. I got business because that's like what was happening in my life, and I just owned it, and it was horrible and it was ugly and it felt very uncomfortable and I was like sweating and just like disgusting, but people loved it. It's true, because I just showed who I was. And not that you always want to show up completely messy, you know, it's good to brush your hair at least, but it's still just real life, you know what I mean? Like it, and so it's okay if where you're at or who you are isn't what you think you should be or who you want to be in the future. You are who you are. Love it, own it, roll with it. Even if you got a screaming baby all the time. It's great.
Yeah, well, I think that's such a great example, because it really speaks to, I actually think that that's one of the greatest things that you can do, is actually blend other parts of your life with, you know, what you're doing in terms of your product. A lot of people, they're a health and fitness coach with a network marketing company, and they have that in this box, but they have all these other elements of their life. You know, I was a musical theater performer, and I was like, the peas and the carrots were never allowed to touch. But like right now in our class, we have, you know, a girl who's a stripper, and she's like, oh my gosh, that's a great niche. So she's like, I am going to help girls who are in the industry, which is like, she's like very cool about it. And she like shared her story and got, oh my God, so many inbox messages. from girls. And she was like, listen, I'm going to freaking rock it. I'm going to own it. And I'm going to help girls in that industry find a way to become healthier. And she's not in network marketing, but, you know, she's making that her brand. I mean, you know, when I was first doing business coaching, I was like, oh, wait, I can incorporate video, my expertise as a performer, and my experience in health coaching and network marketing. And if I layer all those things on top of each other, boom, that's when you find your sweet spot. That's when you take two really good ideas, put them together, and find that thing that really makes you stand out and makes you different.
Love it. So yeah, you take that thing that makes you stand out, whether it's breastfeeding or stripping or, you know, whatever, just, it's fine. And
Yeah,
I was just something really inappropriate. And you take those things and you start to build your valuable content. You start to show who you are and bring value to the table and solve problems and listen to people. And we didn't even really get into this because we've just been having so much fun, but, you know, really listen to people and understand, you know, asking questions and listening, checking on Amazon, you know, and searching for what people are talking about and the reviews and the comments and the language that they're using. Same thing on YouTube. And then crafting messages constantly, solving those problems and not trying to force it into this box of who you think you're supposed to show up as, or force it into this box of what your product currently is. You know, one of the greatest things about this summit is, you know, Ryan Lee obviously is like the email king, right? So we talked a lot about your list and about email and all those things. And one of the things I think is so important in network marketing for women in this summit is you grow yourself, you grow your brand, you grow your tribe. No matter what happens, you leave your company closes, you add, you know, services plus your company, whatever it might be, you have your people now. You have your Rolodex, if you will, right? The best wealth in the world isn't the money in your bank, it's in your Rolodex, right? It's in your relationships. If you're just pushing a company's products, that's not growing relationships. I mean, maybe over time with the people within the company, right? But if you're prospecting or you're trying to get sales and your Rolodex looks the same today as it did 3, 6, 9, 12 months ago, we gotta listen to this interview again, okay? Because it will change. I mean, Angie and Jen and I didn't know each other 3 months ago.
Yeah.
2 months ago. 5 seconds ago. I don't know.
Yesterday. I love that you said that too, because we always say like the money's in your list. So kind of the same thing, like the money's in your Rolodex. I like the Rolodex actually better because it's like so old school, but it is true. So tomorrow, Jen and I decided to go into a different type of coaching. We have people in front of us. So we technically, this is all kind of sandwichy now, we technically could have our audience that would say, wow, that's what I need now next. I mean, that we could be relationship coaches, might happen.
Well, even Angie, you did that. You did that as a health coach. You said, hey, I was a health coach. I'm in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
I literally overnight went from health coaching. It literally was overnight. Like I sent out an email that was like my resignation to the fitness industry. My best open rate to this day was like 44%, which is like crazy. That doesn't happen. And people freaked out. And then I got clients literally like that week right away because I had an audience, and a lot of them, I guess I found out, were health and wellness coaches who wanted to get into, or were women who I had coached maybe in health and wellness, but also then wanted to become health and wellness coaches. So it was like, kind of like, I was like, well, I'm not going to like delete the list and start over, like delete my Rolodex. I'm just going to see who's already there and who maybe would be a good fit for this new business. And so the next day I just did it. And same thing. I think these women need to know, you guys, wherever you go, network marketing can be something I call like your first love almost, where you're like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And then you're like, years go by. I thought that I was going to be in that company forever. And then things changed. My passions changed. My vision changed. And I would never go back to that company or network marketing now. I just won't. That's for personal reasons. So it's interesting because that's funny how as long as you have the Rolodex or the list and you've built that properly, you can literally grow with it. So I said to myself, okay, that's not what I want to do. Where do I want to go next? And all I knew is that I had people in front of me, but I didn't have all the answers. I didn't know what that would look like, but I had people in front of me. So same thing, Jen and I always tell our girls, you don't know where you're going to be in 5 to 10 years. Like most of these girls will probably be life coaches, authors. I mean, God, the sky is the limit now with social media and branding. So don't corner yourself either and like just talk about this company that could die tomorrow or you decide to leave tomorrow. Like it's really screwing yourself. It really is. So we're passionate about like personal branding. If you have a product partner, that is amazing. That's great residual money, but like build you first. Build you.
And let's be honest, it's going to help you in your network marketing business because you're being authentically self. You're showing up, you're providing value, you're building a list, you're doing all the things that you would do in any other business. So just like any other business, when you have something to offer, whether it's business partner opportunity, right, or whether it's a product, you're going to actually go further faster in your network marketing company because of the way that you're showing up. So it's a win-win-win, right? Because you're branding yourself, you get to be yourself, take the pressure off to be somebody else or show up in a different way. Pressure's gone. You are positioning yourself so that no matter what happens in the future, you have your people, you have your tribe, your Rolodex, and you are going to get more sales. You are going to get stronger business partners, right? Because it's all about recruiting and building the team. Well, who cares if you're building a team if they're not doing anything or if they're not duplicating, right? Those things are going to happen stronger, faster because of this whole process. And so I really think it's a win-win-win to start to grow your business like this. I can't tell you how many women I've talked to that have been in business and in network marketing for 6, 12, 18 months, and their business has grown. It has, but not where it coulda, shoulda, woulda, because they were so focused on pushing out the before and after pictures from every company, photo stock that they got, or just talking about that product, or just showing that shake or whatever, versus, the more holistic approach to it. And so,
and Jen's really like, she literally, not to toot her own horn, but she can toot her own horn. She's really good at teaching story. Like even our girls this round were like, no one's taught story like this, like how to craft it, how to sandwich together your strengths. So that too, I mean, she can touch on that, but your story will carry with you. Like, it's not like my story is going to change in 5 years. My story is what actually happened. Jen's experience of acting and all that makes her who she is. And it's like a solid foundation to a house that we can each take with us. So sharing your story is like, I would say for a lot of these women who are like, what do I post? Like, start with your story. 100% start with your story.
And your story, and I just want to keep harping on this because it's somewhere, your story, not in relationship to your product, just your story. Okay. So my story, a piece of my story, which a lot of you guys know, is I had level 3 adrenal fatigue and was not functioning. I started to heal myself naturally. I was making choices unknowingly to decrease environmental toxins in my body, and I started to heal myself. That is a piece of my story. Didn't mention my company, didn't mention my product. I wasn't even a part of that. It has nothing to do with it. That's my story. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
oh my God, yeah. Well, I think a lot of companies, they encourage their people to tell, first of all, as a human being, you have not just one story, you have millions, literally millions of stories. So I think in network marketing, a lot of times it's like, oh, your story of how you got into the company, or your story of using this product, or your story of becoming a business owner. But it's usually like, I was stuck and then I went and found this company and now my life is perfect. So it's like, there's so much more to uncover. If you are doing a sales type of post on social media, incorporating story is probably one of the best ways not to just get scrolled past. It's the difference between saying like, here's my shake, it's got all these phytonutrients and vitamins and minerals. Like, you don't have to, like, that's focusing on the features of the product. So we talk about this a lot as well, not having things being feature based, but like, what is the deeper meaning? What is the benefit? And then of course, incorporating story. So, when I was a health coach, one story I used to tell was how, when I was 19 years old, I went into the endocrinologist and he said, you might have a precancerous condition of your esophagus due to acid reflux flashing up for so many years, and it's been untreated. And I left that office and I called my boyfriend. I was like, oh my God, like, what if I have this condition? So I've told that story. That's so much more powerful than, and of course my solution to that, one thing that I found that was extremely helpful in my healing process was a particular shake with a network marketing company. And so when I would post that, I mean, people were just coming out of the woodwork, like, oh my gosh, like, I've had acid reflux forever. I have GERD. I have, Crohn's disease. Like, will this help me? Versus just being like, it makes me feel full. Buy it. There's no comparison between the two. One is so much more powerful and, actually evoke some kind of emotion in the reader.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amen.
Right. Listen, we have covered so much. And ladies who are listening, you know, I want to hear back from you. Let us know what you loved most about this. Let us know where you're getting stuck at. Let me know your story. Kind of share with me, keeping me in the loop on how I can best support you and what you've really learned from this interview with Angie and Jen, because they're rock stars and I love them. And we talked about a lot. We talked about a lot of really great things. And so I appreciate you ladies. I appreciate you both very, very much for being a part of this. This was a lot of fun. And yeah, any last, I mean, again, we've covered a lot. We've talked about personal branding and positioning and content and story creation and Rolodex. I mean, we've talked about pens. We've talked about a lot of stuff. But as we're kind of wrapping up, is there any one last piece of advice or point that you would like to make before we go? No pressure.
Wise words. I would say start today, right now, because it's a curse to say I'll start my business next year, I'll start it next month, or I'll do videos next week. Even that, it's like just do it, literally, even if it's messy and it's stupid, because you are going to wish in 12 months that you would have done it. The amount of money you can make and the impact you can make in even like 3 months is ridiculous. So like, why would you wait? We have girls all the time, they're like, oh, I'm gonna wait to do video like next year. And you're just like, dude, by next year, like there's gonna be ads on videos, like
We already are. Yeah.
it's like, oh, so I think that's the biggest thing that really lights me up as a coach is people in that state of inaction and fear. And I think there's so many talented, amazing women out there that their businesses just don't grow and they're never noticed because they don't show up, and whoever shows up wins. So just show up.
Yeah, we've had a lot of conversations with our clients who are like, I don't know, like I wrote out this thing and I've been staring at it for 3 days and I think I want to post it, but I don't know if it's perfect yet. Can you read it? And we're like, no, go post it. Like, go do it now. Because, you know, you just have to jump in and take that messy action. We say that all the time, take messy action. You know, even as an actor, yeah, you can go take acting classes until you're blue in the face. But at the end of the day, if you never get on stage in front of an audience, you're not going to know what things are going to land, what things aren't. You know, you learn so much more on the fly doing it. Like, stop studying, stop being an information hoarder, stop getting stuck in information paralysis. You don't know, you do not need to go read another personal development book. Your confidence will come with you taking action. So just go and do it.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, ladies, thank you so much. And for all of you watching, I, of course, am your host, Carrie Yossi, and I will see you later on the Women's Direct Sales Summit. Thanks.
Bye. See you soon. Thank you